I guess that's what it's always been for me, like with the gym, like the type of gym that we have and the environment. It's just been very like natural, family friends, family. So it's like it may cost me from a business perspective at times, but I think
we have probably a very similar outlook on that. I try to do kind of the same thing, and I do like some processes. Like I'm always trying to learn, but because I want to have a life outside of the gym as well, you know, which you know a lot more about because you got kids, but I'm kind of introing into that. So
we'll touch on all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, as usual, we're just rolling to start. That's how we kind of do everything. I feel like
rolling in a CrossFit.
Rolling. That's a good pun. That's where we are today. We are at Momento Combat Sports, Louisville, Tennessee. We are with Sloppy Joe Watson. That is your IG handle. I feel like right out of the gate, I've got to ask, I never have. Why is it Sloppy Joe Watson?
Man, I think like growing up in the era of social media, I just, I was like 13, 14, 15, 16 years old in that time. And then Instagram just started. And then I think I just thought of that name. I thought it was funny. Like my 16-year-old brain thought that, and I just never changed it. And now that's just what it is.
It's just kind of stuck.
Yeah. Nobody really even called me that. It was just like
that's what I wondered. Was that like a thing? Like, would you, did you like Sloppy Joe's? Like, I don't know if that was like a food you ate a lot of as a kid, or
I think for some reason I thought that was funny, and now it's just to the point where I won't change it.
It is, and I mean, I certainly wouldn't call you Sloppy Joe.
Did they announce you that? Like, did they announce that? Like,
nobody has ever called me that. Nobody announces me that.
You don't have a shirt?
No, Baby Joe was a nickname.
Baby Joe, okay.
That's what my coach called me for years, was Baby Joe, because they were draining my cauliflower ear, and I put my thumb in my mouth.
Wow.
And they said it was like a baby sucking his thumb. So that's the only.
How long have you had that? Now that you bring up the cauliflower.
That's been a nickname for about
the cauliflower ear.
Over 10 years.
Yeah.
So got beat up a lot.
So it came from jiu-jitsu though?
Yeah, if you get cauliflower ear, people think it's because you're tough. It's not really. It's because you were in bad spots. Like you were getting beat up. So
interesting.
Now you can be tough by getting beat up a lot if you learn from it.
Yeah, well, it's like definitely like a calling card. Like you ever like have some sort of road rage incident or something,
absolutely.
And the dude coming towards you has real nasty cauliflower ear. Just get back in your car because you earn that.
Yeah,
like you were a wrestler or you are jiu-jitsu or someone you Muay Thai. Who knows where you got it, but you got it from something. And
you didn't get it from laying on the couch, right?
No, definitely. So. Kind of back a little bit of an intro, kind of give a little background into who you are. So you are a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You're also still a competitive Jiu-Jitsu athlete. You just competed over the weekend. Owner, head coach, professor. We'll kind of touch back on that professor here. Memento Combat Sports, and soon to be father.
Yes,
so that's some exciting news coming up.
That stresses me out just thinking about all that stuff.
Oh, come on. No, I think
it's a blessing.
You're like the duck. Have you ever heard the duck analogy? Like you just see the duck on the water and it's just kind of like doing whatever and seems fine, but the legs underneath, the part you don't see, are going crazy to keep it afloat.
Yeah,
and that's probably kind of a little bit how you are.
That's good. I'm gonna have to use that.
So, how did the competition go this weekend?
It wasn't my best performance. I went 2-2. I put a guy to sleep though. That was kind of cool.
Oh wow!
I didn't not saying that that's cool. Like I don't want to do that to my opponents, but if you don't tap in jiu-jitsu, you go to sleep. But there were some things I was like happy about, some sequences, but there was a lot of things I wasn't happy about. I need to get in the gym more and get my conditioning better. I need to do what you guys are doing. I think everybody probably thinks their conditioning should always be better. But, I want to work on that, and it was good just to be in the highest level competition. These guys are all, like, high-level athletes. The ADCC is one of the top submission grappling platforms there is. I think the top.
Yeah.
And I want to compete against the best people until I can't anymore. And then, if I was just getting out there getting smoked every round, I would be like, man, I probably shouldn't be doing this. But I still feel like I got it, so I'm going to keep mixing it up. I came back from a knee injury last year. I was out for a year with a bucket handle tear in my meniscus. I had surgery, the first surgery I've ever had in my life. And I was really nervous coming back because in our sport, they try to break your leg. They try to heel hook you, break your leg. So I was like, I don't want that to happen. That would suck. Can't really do my day-to-day stuff. So I was nervous coming back, but I feel like now I'm getting my confidence about me. But I got to get my conditioning better. You got to face those things and like not hide from it.
Yeah.
And not be afraid of the hard work. And get more uncomfortable.
Well, that's what I was going to say, with especially conditioning and also just jiu-jitsu in general.
Yeah.
There's just a certain amount of uncomfortable work that has to get done. Like I had this conversation yesterday of like, people can get stronger, you can work on technique, but like that sheer capacity to do work only comes from being really uncomfortable pretty often.
Being nauseous, being like, oh, I don't like this. Yeah. Being embarrassed, going out there. That's what makes you.
Yeah. You almost have to like it in a way,
Yeah.
From football, high end, good at football, everything, jiu-jitsu. I mean, you're almost a masochist in a way.
Yeah, because it's not like it's fun going through any of that, But I think that like one day you'll look back and be like, I'm proud of that, and that you can enjoy going through it too in a way. There's a possibility to program your mind, I think, to enjoy that process, but it's enjoying the little things and the little parts of the process.
It's also sailing through a storm, and when you're done with the storm, it's like, oh my god,
yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been in a sailboat. I have when I was a kid, and afterward, I just remember that feeling like, oh my god, I made it.
What just happened?
Yes, or like weathering any storm in life. You know what I mean, it's just like the relief you get when you're finished.
Yeah, and like the opposite of that is like the instant gratification we have all the time, like social media. I'm guilty of it just as much as anybody, and like enjoying short-term things. But I think that definitely the discipline part and like making yourself uncomfortable, and sometimes discipline isn't like just like waking up early and doing hard stuff. It's like sitting down and doing something that you've been avoiding, like especially as a business owner, you know this. Like I feel this pressure a lot too. Or, like all sorts of things. But
I feel like there's a lot of clarity in, say, CrossFit, when every day in life I'm thinking about 12 different things. But, like, when I'm on the assault bike, I'm thinking about the assault bike. And that's such, like, a clarity moment for me. And, like, I don't know. That's what I love,
I challenge anybody to do that assault bike, man. That thing is the worst.
Yeah, anything. I mean, snatches.
It's funny. So that's what I get from being here. So like with me at the gym,
it's different for you because
it's my job. It's my thing. I've done this so much that like, and I'm also like, I'm at this point kind of only willing to get so uncomfortable when I'm on the assault bike. Like I kind of know where I'm like, this is good enough. But when I'm out there and you're like pinned underneath, like Joe,
it's the only thing you're thinking about.
Like you're just like, how do I not like? How do I prolong this or get out of this or like it's it definitely like a singular focus thing.
Yeah, and for somebody else, it may be going up and talking to people or something like that. Absolutely. If you have social anxiety or whatever. For everybody's got that thing that they're kind of avoiding. You know?
What's your thing, man?
Man, a lot of stuff. I don't like water.
I've read that. You can't swim. Is it you can't swim or you're just not good at
swimming? I can kind of like do this and like
same way.
Survive around, but I just kind of sink.
You too? Well, I'm just not a good swimmer, man.
I know somebody.
You've got the body type to be a good
built like
swimmer.
a brick shithouse. You know what I mean? I just
sink.
Dude.
I happen to know someone. If you
I know.
With swimming.
Also, still
we need to get in the pool. That'll be the next episode. We get in the pool.
Yeah, we can do it.
And that would actually that would get the clicks right there. People would be like, watch these guys try to swim. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to circle back to when we were talking about, kind of some of the things to describe you, professor. So that's something that, I've a little experience in jiu-jitsu, not a ton. Like, kind of explain that term to me, how it's supposed to be used. Do you know much of the history about it, or?
I feel like when I wear glasses, people can call me professor, but if I'm just not wearing the glasses, I'm coach. No, I don't know. I guess like people call people professor in jiu-jitsu once you like got to a black belt. I didn't even know this because like when I first opened, I was a brown belt, and one of my friends posted Professor Joe does this thing in a clip, and one of the local guys got like really mad about it, and he was like, this guy isn't a professor, he's a brown belt. I was like, oh wow. Dude, my bad, like I didn't know.
Right.
I don't care about titles. I really don't care about belts, to be honest with you. But anyways, I guess like they call people professor because usually it takes 10 years to get a black belt, so it's kind of like a PhD type thing.
Okay. 10 years of like how much a week, you know what I mean? Is that like...
That's a great question, and that's one of my arguments to people as well, is like, do you get a guy who's trained, like I was training twice a day, for years, 3 times a day.
It's like a 10,000 hours.
And then some guys train twice a week, 3 times a week, and
once a week if you're me.
Yeah, because everybody's on their own journey. It's like kind of like if CrossFit gave out belts.
Right.
Like, would you get a guy like Matt Frazier who came in 3 years and was just super good? Would you give him a black belt right away?
Right.
Or the guy that's been once a week, he's just trying to get in better shape? Anyways, I forgot how we got there, but Professor, I think it's cool. But I don't. It also makes me uncomfortable when people call me stuff sometimes too. So I'm not big into it, but I do think I've committed a lot of time into learning.
Of course.
And it's like jiu-jitsu is like a science. I mean, Dave will tell you it's like, you're breaking down like little things. So it does take a lot of work to get in there.
Right.
So if I wear the glasses, I'm Professor.
Okay, good to know. Well, to that point, there is a lot of like tradition and sort of, and I pay a little bit of attention to the jiu-jitsu landscape and some of that questioning, like the whole now no-gi, Gordon Ryan, like that kind of thing, but the more traditional gi and bowing when you're onto the mat and those kind of things. And like, what do you think, or where do you kind of fall on that landscape of like, because I think some people are very, that's what I'm looking for, just more in favor, like we're going to bow. I know we do that here. Like I do it. I don't even 100% always know why. I'm just like, this is what we do. You like tap your side and you, like that's out of respect. But then also like it is not always treated that way. So what are your thoughts on that? Yeah,
that's another very interesting question, because it's like some people like that traditional feel, and like there's some cool things to uniformity, and like everybody wearing the same uniform and like having a lot of rules and having a structure and like lining up by rank. The military uses this, and the military is one of the most powerful organizations ever, so it's like I think there is something to that structure. But then I think there's that element too of like having a little bit more laid back feel, to where it feels more family atmosphere and like joking around, and you're not so stuck up, and you can enjoy, because if I'm coming in to train 2 or 3 times a week at a gym, I want to go have fun. I want to get a good workout in. I want to learn something, and I don't need somebody like that's another grown man telling me like, hey man, clip your nails and dress up a little better next time you come in here and line up behind this guy, where it's like, I want people to learn jiu-jitsu, get a good workout in, but I do think some structure is good too. I'm not 100% against
for
structure.
Sure, and I think
you do that pure chaos. Like I've been to gyms like that. It's like a frat house.
Well, and so like I think, and I have a limited lens to look through. I think you do a really good job of that here, and that's things I've heard other members say, or other students say, that like the culture here and the environment. That was something I was actually going to bring up later on, but we're already there. It's like I think you do a good job of balancing like it is fun and it's loose, and we're here to have a good time, but also like we do. Like I see most people bow when they step onto the mat. We line up in order of rank at the end of class, and it's never like a thing. People that's just what we do, and it's respectful, and I think that comes from the top.
I mean, I appreciate all that. I think like you got to respect the guy that's coming in day one almost more than anybody, because he's the one that's the most uncomfortable, so like I think those people should be respected, and then also the guy that's been here consistent. Like everybody on the mat deserves respect. That's number one, and I think if people feel that, and then you're putting in hard work, then like the tradition and stuff matters and stuff like that, but I think the most important thing is like you show everybody respect and you put in hard work, you know, like that's the 2 things I'm looking for anyways. It's like that's what's going to push me to be better. It's not like tying my belt in a certain way or bowing to Helio Gracie every time I get on the mat. I'm like, cool, but I want to be at a place where everybody respects each other. We're not out here to hurt each other, but then we're also putting in work too. We're not just doing this for show.
Yeah, I think you do a great job leading by example of that. Like there's just, I was telling Ben that before we started, and well, I guess we can kind of touch on that, like the lion in the logo, and there's like this component, like when you're out there on the mat, like you're a very easygoing guy. You're very humble. You're almost soft-spoken, but like everybody in that room knows, like, kind of a badass dude. Like I'm not doing that to just pump your tires, but like we know. I mean, we've seen the work you've done. You know, compete, whatever. Like I've talked to other black belts that they're like, man, Joe, you don't want to mess with Joe. Like in a good way. Like you're very highly skilled. Like you're very good at your craft, and you just lead by example of like, you're potentially most days or whatever best one in the room, but you don't carry yourself in that way. But like everyone knows who's in charge of that room. There's no questioning like how to behave, how to conduct yourself. And I think it just radiates from you when you're out there.
Thank you, man. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna feel more confident about myself after listening to that. But in all reality, like I can't swim. You know, like I'm the unhandiest guy ever. There's a lot of things I'm like terrible at. So I think like in jiu-jitsu, I noticed that like that this is an area of life I'll spend a lot of time on, and like I need to be confident in that, because it's like if you're not confident in yourself, that's not a good thing either. Right. But I also know that like it's just one area of life, and it expires eventually too. Like there will be a day when I'm too old or beat up to do it. So it's just like put everything in perspective and try to enjoy it while I got it, you know. Yeah. And I love jiu-jitsu. I think it's just fun.
Is there anything else in life that you kind of have the same mind frame of jiu-jitsu? Like I know a lot of people correlate to the chess, or like is there anything else that you're like, man, jiu-jitsu helps me with this? You know?
Oh yeah, everything. I think so. I mean, I think you can relate anything to anything in life pretty much. I'm like a big analogy guy, you know. But I'm sure CrossFit's the same way for you guys. It's like, or, you know, we were talking about analogies with ducks and boats earlier. Yeah. It's like you can connect everything. And I feel like jiu-jitsu is just so, like, easy to connect things to. So I use it for a lot of, like, in conversations, but I try to relate it more to the person I'm talking to. If they're not a jiu-jitsu person, I try not to make jiu-jitsu references to them. Right. If they're, like Clay, I was talking to him about football earlier, and, like, tennis, right? Yep. I don't know a lot about tennis, but I know enough to, like,
pickleball
relate thing. Pickleball, I love pickleball. But
no, that's such a good. I do the same thing. Like if I know someone and I don't use swimming, but that's what popped in my head because I've used this. I'm like trying to explain someone how to jump and be forceful. I'm like, pretend you're pushing off the wall. Like you've done a flip turn, you're pushing off the wall. You need to drive with your legs as hard as you can. Like what is something that you understand that I at least know enough about to make the connection, so you'll get the point of what I'm talking about. Because if I use my language knowledge,
it's not going to click.
It might just you're just like I don't know. I've never done this before.
Yeah, and that's why I think social media is really interesting, because like somebody may connect to you because you have a lot of tattoos and you got this certain look about you. Or they may connect to me because of what, or Dave's. Absolutely. Like everybody's story is different,
and the opposite. They may turn me off because of my tattoos. They may turn you off,
which is fine, you know. But it's like you're going to connect to somebody just because you have tattoos. Is going to be like, the guy's gonna be like, man, this guy's kind of interesting, or whatever, you know, like, that's cool.
How does your mind work while you're grappling? Like, are you scanning the body? Are you scanning movements? Are you looking? My dad used to box, so he used to kind of tell me, and about how what he would look at. You know what I mean? Do you do that, or you just kind of feel it as a rhythm? Like I watched a couple videos of you, and you look very rhythmic and comfortable and.
My style is more rhythm and flow, but like, you know, you kind of tap into that flow state sometimes.
But are you looking for them not being on the same flow? Is that kind of like
I'm looking for people to be uncomfortable. I notice their breathing. If they're breathing really fast and they're really tense with their muscles, that means they're uncomfortable.
Does that mean they're about to do something, or does that just mean that you...
That just means that I can kind of get them to react to me and be on my pattern more. But if they're too relaxed and lazy, then I can kind of increase my pace too. So I'm feeling your energy a lot. I'm trying to cut the ring off, so I'm trying to create pressure onto you so that you have to respond to me. So like if I push you backwards and you just let me push you all around the ring, I'll just do that. But if you push back into me, I need to be able to use your energy kind of like a bullfighter would. And then I'm looking to get in certain positions. Like I like certain positions. I like to get to the back. I like to get to the chest-to-chest position. So I'm looking for little cues to get me to my checkpoint positions. And then I'm trying to stay relaxed the whole time because I don't want to panic my breathing. And kind of like if you're on the assault bike, for example, like if you get kind of uncomfortable with your breathing, then all of a sudden you just get out of whack and you know, you get uncomfortable and you quit. So, and sometimes I mess that up, you know, like.
Well, you're not always in control. Yeah. Like that's so it's funny because like people will compare, like you do it a lot because I feel like you always, again, you're very empathetic. You're trying to get on that person's level, and you'll do that with me, even with like CrossFit. Yeah. And I'm like, no, the barbell doesn't choke me. What I do, I'm in control of. I can slow down, speed up. I know some athletes, they just, they black out. They go to that dark space. I don't do that stuff. I'm not a games athlete. But I can control how stuff happens. When you're out there, you're on the mat, you're not always in control because the other person is doing the same thing. And so you're rolling with me, you can approach it differently than when you're competing because that person is possibly thinking the same things you are. So that give and take and that feedback is going to be very different. So the best laid plans, well, what does that person do in response to what I'm doing? Or so
it's crazy, man. It's such a psychological game, but it's so fun at the same time. It's a trip. Being out of the competition yesterday, I watched matches. The first matches I watched were kids' matches. And I watched a whole bracket of these, tough kids. This kid was from Las Vegas. The other kid was from California. They flew across the country to compete in Louisville, Kentucky. And, they were unbelievable. And I was watching their mindset the whole time. These kids were, veterans, dialed in, no facial expression, focused, doing perfect technique, and, showed a lot of heart. And I'm like, man, it's not an age thing.
Right.
Anybody can do it. And a couple weeks ago, I went to Las Vegas, Nevada for the Masters Worlds, huge tournament, and there was guys in their 50s and 60s, same thing. It's not age, it's not race, it's not body type. It's that's the beautiful part about competition, I think.
Yeah.
Do you see a personality type that's usually better than others? You have
super nerdy guys.
Super nerdy guys are the best. Is that because
they're
analytical and
killers?
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, not always. But I swear, there's a joke in jiu-jitsu. The more autistic you are, and the more steroids you're on, the better you get.
Did you say artistic or autistic?
Autistic.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on here, but
it's like a hyper.
I have a brother with autism.
An ability to hyper focus.
It's a joke, but
yeah.
If you can be super locked, how Elon Musk is locked in, you got to be just.
It can be a superpower. If you have the ability to hyper focus, it's something I lack.
It can also be very harmful in your personal life.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not advocating. I'm just to your point, people that can hyper focus on things have the ability to do it at a level that say my brain just can't go to. That's why I've always struggled with very technical things that are challenge. That's why jiu-jitsu, I mean, I'm 44 now and I was probably 24 the first time I ever tried it, but it was so technical and challenging, and I would get frustrated, and I honestly wasn't mature and calm enough to just be I'm okay not knowing how to do this. Everything had to be a workout. Everything had to be, CrossFit.
That's the biggest thing I see with people is they want to leave completely sweaty and exhausted, which is good, we were talking about earlier. But I think the mental work is just as hard, if not harder, than the physical work. And if you're really good at the physical work, you probably need to do more work in the mental work. If you're really good at the mental work, you probably need to do more work on the physical work. And that's really hard because most people are one or the other. So the guys that are really good at jiu-jitsu, back to your question, it's kind of the combination of both. Gordon Ryan is one of the most successful guys right now. His coach says mentally he's the best student he's ever had, and physically he's a pretty sharp guy as well. He's jacked, he's in good shape, and I think it's a combination of both.
Right. Yeah, it's not
and having the heart of a fighter. Some people give up easy, some people don't give up easy. That's just kind of in you. I think you can train that too. And then having the kind of smarts to, if you're losing in a certain situation, change your strategy. It's kind of like in sports. What makes Tom Brady the best player of all time? He ran a crappy 40-yard dash.
Right.
It's
intangible stuff a lot of times. It's things that you can't always quantify. Just insane physical attributes. Yes, obviously there's value to that.
You've got some guys like Bo Jackson, who is an unbelievable athlete, and there's guys like that in jiu-jitsu too. It's just it's just everybody finds their way in a different way.
Right. What made you find it in the first place? How did you? So you played football in high school. When did you start jiu-jitsu, and really why?
I had a friend on the football team. His name was John DeMarcus, and his dad was a black belt. And he invited – I kind of grew up with this kid, and he was just a funny guy. We were friends. We played football together. And then his dad was a black belt, and he invited us to come train one day. And I think me and one of my other friends, who was a musician, were the only guys to go. And we went and did the class, and then they were teaching us how to do shrimps and stuff. And I was like, man, this is just weird. We were making fun of it. But I remember at the end of class, they were like, you guys aren't going to roll today. It's just your first class. And I asked the coach, I was like, man, I'm probably not going to come back unless I want to roll just to feel what it feels like. And they partnered me up against a guy, and he just smoked me. And I was like, man, that was awesome. Like, just like all we were talking about jiu-jitsu, like the physical, the mental, and just kind of from that day fell in love with it. So that was how I started. But I was always like, even as a kid, I would watch WWE and like play with the action figures. Mm-hmm. I think it was just kind of in my DNA, which might be like a God thing that he was just like,
you're just born
this
that
is where
way.
who knows what leads us to what we do. But I think
on some, sorry, I didn't
I was going to say, I think most kids have that, but it takes a lot of courage to get on a mat with a lot of kids.
That's what I was going to say. I think we're all like, and it's not to bring up the whatever. Boys are wired that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're loud. Mm-hmm. They're physical by nature. Even not physical kids are like, they're just different. I've had two girls that are now teenagers, and I have an 8-year-old boy that isn't like a wild, super aggressive 8-year-old kid, but he's still like chasing the dog around the house, slamming into the couch, which the girls never did. I think there's a component to that, and it's just expressing
DNA.
Like, we're just wired to like hunt and kill and chase things. We've evolved that way, whether it was God-given or that's how we've survived as a species. Like, there's a component.
The way you're wired.
We're just testosterone, I guess. I don't know.
That's probably it.
So when you started out, was it just, were you all in and like, I'm training every day kind of thing?
I was 16, so I played football at Maryville High School, and that was my whole life at that point. We were a state championship team. We went to the state title 4 years in a row. We won 2. And then I was just like, I was thinking about playing college football, but then when I tried my first jiu-jitsu class, I fell in love, and I was like, man, this is a small sport. Kind of reminds me of like skateboarding in the early days. And I feel like it's kind of budding, and like maybe if I could, I'm pretty athletic. If I could, instead of committing it all into football, I actually like doing this sport more.
Yeah.
What if I just committed it all into this? And then there was a guy named Samuel Braga in Knoxville, and he's a world champion in jiu-jitsu at the lightest weight class, or the second lightest weight class. And I was like, man, what are the chances? So it just kind of all fit in perfect. And I was like, I'm just going to give all I got into this. So once football ended, that was like kind of like I would still train 3 or 4 times a week. But then once football ended, I switched from like the local gym I was at in Maryville into Knoxville to Samuel, and I just like 100% like lived, eat, and breathed jiu-jitsu for like a decade or more, and he taught me so much. Hardest working athlete I've ever been around. The guy's a maniac of like in the best way possible. So that was kind of it.
That was actually where I was going to go next. I've only met Samuel a couple times, but I've just heard through yourself, MJ, other people. He's kind of he's a pretty well-known guy in the area. What it was like having such a high-level world champion. He invented a move.
The Berimbolo, which is like a way to spin and take somebody's back, which has become really popular.
Yeah.
And it's just like, have you read the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell at all? Yep. He talks about this a little bit. Is like sometimes you just have like a world champion at something in your town, and like maybe you're born into that, and like that was what I felt like with Samuel. Is like, and I was surprised more people didn't. There was a lot of people at the gym, but I'm like, man, everybody in town should be training with this guy. This guy's knowledge is insane, right? And his work ethic was really good too.
That's a really good book. It's a lot about like seizing opportunity, like you were just mentioning. Like there's these opportunities for things. Like Bill Gates is mentioned in that book. Like he just happened to be in college at one of the only supercomputers in the world. Like if he lived in Arizona, we would not have Microsoft. But it's preparation and opportunity. So what is it now for you? Like do you have a coach? I guess that's kind of a stumbling over my words way to ask that question.
So I still consider Samuel my coach. I've had like kind of a with the knee injury, I was out for a year and had like just some personal stuff happen. Like my dad passed away, and I'm kind of getting back in. The business has been growing, which has been a blessing as well, and I'm getting back into that stage of like trying to train more over at Samuel's school. As a business owner, it's tough as well, and like I just got to get over there as much as possible to be coached. And I had another great wrestling coach, Brian Harney. He was a former Division I wrestler at Michigan State. He trained Bilal Muhammad for years, who was the UFC welterweight champion. Best wrestler, one of the best wrestlers I've ever trained with, and he was my coach for like the last couple of years in wrestling. Mm-hmm. He just moved like 2 weeks ago. So I'm kind of in a transition phase, but I just got to get over to Samuel's class more often. And then I coach myself a lot through video study, but that's only one element. I think it's important to have a coach as well. I have a strength and conditioning coach, Matt York. Mm-hmm. He's one of my good friends I've trained with for the past 3-4 years. We've done a lot of good work in the weight room. I got to get over there more too. So it's kind of on me just to go out and seek my coach. I know where I need to be.
Right.
You know, those are the two guys, Samuel, Matt York. Professor Dan helps me out a ton in the 10 a.m. class every day. He's always watching my rolls, and like he was texting with me already about the matches this weekend. Yeah. He's helping me out a ton. I have some great training partners in here. John Wick, who's like one of the nastiest. That's his nickname. Anyway, John Wick.
That's awesome.
He's a submission sniper. He's so good. I've got some really good training partners. Zach Martin, who's in there. Thomas Nelson. Mm-hmm. I've got some just killers. Trevor. I could go on for like an hour about the training partners I got, but it's just finding ways to get better with everybody. And then coaching, I feel like, helps you in a way too, you know. Yeah. But you can't rely on only that. Right. Coaching helps some parts, but you got to also put in the work yourself.
For sure. What made you decide that you wanted to be a coach? So you started with Samuel.
Yeah.
Was that still in high school or after? I guess
that was after high school.
After high school, yep. So you started with Samuel. And then how long until you were like, you know what? Yeah. I don't just want to do this as my hobby, sport, whatever. I want to do this professionally.
I was trying to do it professionally from day one. I was like, man, I'm already an athlete with football. Like, I was like, Jiu-Jitsu is going to be in the Olympics. I'm going to try to be an Olympic. You know, you're just young. You're like dreaming. So I was training hard right off the bat. And then I was just working whatever job I could to make money. Like, I used to sell TVs at Sears. I was like slinging TVs, and I was a bouncer for a couple of years, and like all these odd jobs, mover. And then one day Samuel asked me to teach the kids class, which is usually what happens in jiu-jitsu. If you're like a talented guy or girl, you're going to get that person, they're going to start teaching the kids because the main instructor usually is really busy and needs some help. Right. I started teaching kids. And I was like, man, I don't know if I like this that much. Kids are hard. Kids are hard. But thank God I did, man. What a blessing. Like, teaching the kids is probably the best thing I've ever done through jiu-jitsu. I started doing that. And then Jonathan Knight, one of my best friends, he came up to me, and we started training together. And he was like, man, we should open a place in Maryville. So we opened a place together. He was like my first business partner, and one of my good friends to this day. Yeah. His kids were young. They were getting into jiu-jitsu, and we started a kids program, an adult program. And we organized it in a way where we could do that and still train at Samuel's. Right. And then it just kept growing and growing and growing into what it is now. He had to leave because he had some personal life stuff with parents and stuff like that. Yeah. And, getting older, and we still stay in touch. And he's actually got a club up there now that's like killing it. That's and awesome. His kids are getting older and they're beasts. And his daughter just graduated, and she's doing amazing. And it's just crazy to see how life goes on. But that's how I got into coaching, and then just kept doing it as a way to make money and stay involved in the sport. I was like, man, I can either go get a regular job and then do the sport on my free time, which guys do that. There's a guy in Atlanta that's a lawyer and a full-time jiu-jitsu competitor. He's one of the best in the world. Yeah. And I'm like, man, that was another option, or coach and do it. I went with the coach option just because of Jonathan. I would credit mainly for that.
You talk about all your friends. Have you ever lost friends by slamming them too hard, or you know what I mean? Like that seems like a really touchy.
No, I'm pretty I'm cool with everybody.
Is there just like a underlying respect where it's like, okay, after this we're cool?
There's some guys like that where it'll be kind of like personal. I'm not really like that. Yeah. I've lost touch with people just because I'm bad at like my phone and like I get busy with things. And that is like one thing I always want to just reach back out to people and let them know that like, man, I'm not doing this on purpose. I just
you're just a busy guy.
Busy, but no, nothing like that.
Nothing like.
So you went to You went to school for business as well, right?
Yep.
Was that like on purpose? Like you saw the path?
No, I think everybody just tells you to go to college, and you're like, man, I'm just being dumb if I don't go to college. And to be honest, I'm not dissuading anybody from going to college, but to me, I mean, I learned how to turn papers in on time and how to get things done on time, but I was watching videos of jiu-jitsu in class. I was watching business videos in class. I learned more off YouTube than I did in business school.
Yeah.
Watching Alex Hormozi and Gary Vaynerchuk and these guys. That's the stuff that I actually use in my business. But maybe I didn't apply myself also at the same time like I should have. I was one of those guys that would just like do the amount of work necessary to get the grades to pass just so I could get the piece of paper to say I did it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You still did it though. No, I would agree. So I have two teenage daughters.
Yeah.
And that's something that my wife and we talk about that. We speak openly with the kids. Like my wife has a college degree. She has a master's degree. She was a teacher. She had to have a certain level of education.
Yep.
I never went to college. I mean, I technically did, but never to any quantitative level. And I own a business. I run a business, and I'm responsible for all these things, maybe some of which I would have learned in school, some I didn't. And so we leave that to the kids. Like if you're pursuing something that the prerequisite or the entry in the door is an education, then you need to do that.
Yeah.
But there are potentially a lot of opportunities.
It's absolutely good for a lot of people.
For sure.
You know, it's just, looking back, I think, I went for social reasons and reasons of people telling me I should go. And it was kind of fun too, but it wasn't like, I wasn't like going to parties all the time and like wasn't super involved. I was just kind of like going there, going to jiu-jitsu.
Right.
I don't think I went to one UT football game the whole time I was there. I was like, no, that's open mat. Like, what are you talking about?
But you never know.
Yeah.
Like maybe the addition of that structure helped keep you on track, and so it allowed you to 100%. I really need to prioritize my time, my physical and mental bandwidth. Like maybe if you were in school, maybe you would have partied a little bit more because you were at a younger age, or who knows? You know what I mean? Like
I looked at it as a way to recover too. I was like, if I go to class, that means I can recover my body for a little bit. I'd be falling asleep in class and stuff.
Did you ever see yourself taking a different path?
Yeah, I mean, man, I think if I wouldn't have found jiu-jitsu, who knows? I'm very, immersed into whatever I do. When I was, 14, 15, I played Call of Duty all the time, and I think I had, the most screen time out of any of my friends. So, whatever I would have got into, I would have gone into 100%, So, who knows what that would have been.
When you're 12, what were your interests before football? And
a lot of sports and just, funny, goofy stuff, and watching Jackass and just being a boy, like he's saying, I do like reading. I like history a lot. Love history.
Favorite moment in history? Favorite time?
I just like watching history podcasts and stuff, and just learning about all different
hardcore history
eras. I love Dan. Dude, I love that stuff. I could watch those documentaries all day long. I like that type of stuff a lot too. So.
In the early days, getting started, you had a business partner. You were in school for business.
Yep.
But still, what was the most challenging part about now taking this passion, this thing that I do for fun to a degree, as challenging as it is, you're doing it for fun, for personal gain, so to speak. Well, now I'm going to turn it into a profession. I'm going to do this. I'm hoping to pay the bills and feed a family someday with this. What was?
Yeah, I wasn't smart enough to think in the future of but maybe in a subconscious way I was, but I think the hardest part is transitioning into realizing okay, if you are going to do this for a living, how do you make enough money to do that and to where you can still pursue your life, and that's a big, it's a simple thing, but it's not easy,
right?
And, people think because you're doing your favorite thing all the time that it's just every day's a dream, which it is, but you have to understand the business part. And luckily I enjoy business stuff. Like I said, I sold TVs at Sears. I actually love that job. I love sales, most people hate sales. I think it's really interesting. So I would say the business part, but I'm grateful for the business part because I think if you can sign people up into gym memberships for long periods of time, that's a pretty powerful sales skill. It's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
So I like sales. I like marketing. I like business. And I think that was kind of a hard transition, but also competing is hard as well, because like then you get super into that, and then you're like, oh yeah, I should probably work out more.
Right.
So maybe juggling, I would say, is the hardest part, because then you got your personal life, which is like a whole nother thing.
Yeah, like, and so I can definitely relate. You know, like I work out for a living, right? I'm, you know, not a professional athlete, but like my job is exercise. But like people don't see the other part.
Yes.
You know, maybe some do, and they can be empathetic to it. But it's like, yeah, you're doing this thing that you love doing, but there's a reason that not everyone is an entrepreneur and starting a business, because like, you know, in your case, you're starting a business from nothing. We'll say you're like, well, I have this thing that I love to do, but I have like rent to pay, and I have bill like for the space, whatever, you know, build like I have to like create all this, and then I have to like keep it going.
Yeah,
like
and then if I start doing good at one of those things, maybe I haven't been spending as much time with my girl or whatever, and it's like, or I haven't been working out as much, and it's like, oh crap, I might be doing really good in one of these things, and then the other thing falls, and then I got to put up in that, and then the other, you know, it's like trying to find.
Then there's really no such thing as true balance, because whenever you're going to hyper focus to advance in one area, something else by default has to lack. You can't give 100% to more than one thing. It doesn't work that way. So, and I think that's something, and also just like the risk, like I think of that sometimes, like when I'm trying to make myself feel better, of like, you know, this isn't easy and it's okay to be stressed, is that like, you know, most people, they go to work every day, someone is going to provide them with something to do, and like job security, so to speak, as long as you're doing your job. Like every day that you get up or whatever, you're like, I'm like fighting for my job every day, because I have to go out there and I have to do a good job for all of these people and get them the results and the thing that they're looking to get from what I do. But also potentially like, well, I have to be, you know, bringing in new people, because inevitably someone's going to leave.
There's going to be some churn.
They're going to get hurt. They're going to move. They're going to get sick of doing this. Like there's security, but there's not. Like you're kind of always in flux, and there's always that, like every day you're waking up like, is my job going to stay the same?
I'll say Maddie's been a huge help with that. Like my girlfriend Maddie, she's just like, she's always like willing to support me spending a lot of time, and she also makes sure that we spend time as well. And like I think having somebody that you can like, that's like, honestly, I think that's probably one of the hardest parts too, is like finding that right person for you. And like Maddie's the right person for me. She understands my lifestyle, but she also challenges me in the way. And like
for someone who's a hyper focuser, it's hard. Sometimes it's easy to not pay them attention.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You think you're doing a really good thing. You're like, I'm providing, doing this, but it's like, are you really, if you're not spending that time, you know? And that's like such a hard thing. But like, you know, like Maddie, I enjoy spending time with her. That helps a lot. And she wants me to spend time with her. That helps a lot. And, you know, she also gets the business side too. So that's such a hard thing to find. So I feel very lucky to have found that, you know.
100%. I think it's an underappreciated, because I'm in the same boat. Like my wife doesn't deal with my crap. She calls me out when necessary. Like almost more, and not in a like she's negative, but like I don't get much sympathy in a way that like sometimes she can just tell I'm looking for it. And she's like, no, it's fine. Cut it out. Like, just pick your like whatever. Like
she
think
knows you.
Because she'll bring me like, think of what we're doing here.
like we're providing this thing for these people. We bring so much joy to them. Like same thing, you know, this especially, like this is such a hard thing to do. People that are doing this are so intentional about doing it. Like there is something that this brings to their life. And like keeping that into perspective and in front of mind of like, I'm doing this, I'm bringing them value. I know that helps me for sure.
Purpose.
So we touched on like the culture thing, and that's a big thing for me that it sticks out because again, I don't have a lot of experience in jiu-jitsu, but like I know like the stigma in cases, right? Like it's an aggressive thing. Like let's not pull any punches, you know, like the goal is, we were joking about this before we started, in a friendly way, hurt someone enough so that they want to stop. Because that's ultimately what we're doing. You want to put someone in such an uncomfortable situation that they don't want to deal with you anymore. But you're trying not to hurt them at the same time. And it's a delicate thing. And it's like a culture that you have to uphold. Because I know that there are places, even not from personal experience, that like it's kill or be killed. Like, it's survival of the fittest. Like, he who can survive the training will be the champion. Like, it's like that in a lot of things. Weightlifting, jiu-jitsu, like, whoever just doesn't break. And so, like, do you feel like you actively do anything to preserve the culture that you have here? Or is it just that's just who you are so much?
There's a lot. There's every day there's, like, little things that happen. But I think ego is a big thing with everybody. I mean, and some ego is not bad, but a lot of ego is bad. So I think, like, just drawing that line and being like, this is the culture here. And, like, we can't hurt each other. That's the number one thing. Like, if people feel uncomfortable with, like, they're going to get injured, they're not going to train here. Right. And then you're going to kind of get that reputation. And there's always a risk you take. There's a risk you take every time you step on the mats. But when you feel uncomfortable, like people are out to get you, that's where the culture starts to fall a little bit. And, like, you can kind of sniff that in the air. You have to be in the classes a lot, and you have to know people really well to, like, understand that, because there's always, like, a problem person or so. But, like, you can kind of tell when it's, like, kind of a problem and when it's like, oh, that's a problem, And sometimes it gets to be sticky situation, and it's like, there's always interesting things that come up. But I'm sure every business has to deal with this. I know this because I used to work in Sears. Like I said, it's like, man, you'd have a problem customer every day and selling TVs. So, like, now jiu-jitsu is obviously a lot more intimate, but in some ways you can deal with that easier because you're right there with them.
Right.
There's some quote, I'm going to botch it, but it's something like true confidence is true humility.
Yeah.
Like, when you're truly confident, you're not perfect, and that you have more to learn, and that you're super humble.
Yeah, vulnerable.
So, like, finding people that with egos, I mean, that's just the opposite, dude. So it's like, it's got to be really hard to deal with.
Yeah. But you can, if you are, like you said, if you are truly confident, you can kind of sense when somebody's trying to, like, put that mask on, and it's like insecurity. And I'm like, man, instead of, like, used to, I feel like I got mad at them. I try to anyways these days be like, man, I almost feel bad. Like, what can I do to help you? Like, what can I do to make you feel more comfortable? Like, let you know I'm on your side. Like, I want to sit on the same side of the table as you. I want to be your biggest fan. And, like,
that's like Jocko. I'm a big Jocko fan.
Yeah.
And he kind of says a lot of that, where it's like, I don't want to fight anyone. You know? Like, let's try to be friends first.
Yes. But I'm not going to enable you at the same time. And that's been a tough thing to learn, too, because, like, sometimes I'll be trying to help people, and then I'm like, man, I might be enabling. That's, like, a bad thing as well.
True.
So it's a fine balance, but that's also what probably keeps it fun, too, is, like, we're actually making real differences, and it's like the problem person might end up being your best student. Or the person that brings in all the other people was like, because they had a transformation,
Yeah, and you never know. Like, that's something I've struggled with throughout the years with different contexts. But, like, when you're in, like, a gym, fitness, whatever, like, I don't always know what they're coming in the door with. And so, like, there was old school ways that you're late for class, you got to do burpees, or, like,
that was
you're more than 10 minutes,
too.
You can't take class. And it's like, what if that person...
They'd lock the door in jiu-jitsu. They'd lock it.
But, like, what if that person's, like, dog just died?
Yeah.
And they just came from that, and they're 10 minutes late for that. And, like, so I've struggled because it's, like, to the point we talked earlier, like, having standards and tradition and all this stuff, but then also, like, these are people.
Yes, yeah.
And, like, they all have...
lives outside of here. Yeah, it's a tough thing to balance, There's certain things, like, I think cleanliness is one, like, if somebody's coming in and they're real dirty, especially in jiu-jitsu, like, that's like, we got to shower.
There's some non-negotiable.
Or if somebody's coming in, they're in a real bad mood and they're trying to hurt people.
Right.
Like, hey, we got to, like, tone that down. But, like you said, if somebody's coming in late, they're like, man, they've been grinding, have a hard time at home. It's like, dude, come in, like, have a good workout, do your thing.
For sure. And again, I think you do just such a really fantastic job. Like, I've always just felt welcome here, and
he talks about it all the time. He
talks
about jiu-jitsu more than he talks about CrossFit,
because it's like it's something new. It's like this new thing. Not that I've mastered the realm that I'm in necessarily, but, like, I've pursued it to the level that I'm comfortable. Like, again, I'm not making myself throw up just to get fitter at this point in my life, but, like, it's just a whole different thing being here, and just the energy in the room and the group of people, and that was something I was mentioning earlier. Like, every time you're in the room, you're, like, a lot of different stuff, which is the same thing when I'm at the gym. Like, I'm never just a member at my gym. Like, I'm also a member. I'm also the most experienced coach. I'm also the guy that owns the business. So, like,
you're, like, doing sales and
it's
stuff.
It's just a different
cleaning
thing
up
for
the
me.
Toilets.
So, I mean, I've literally, in the middle of class, like, hey, I got to go unclog a toilet. But, like, here, I'm like, and I mean this in the best possible way, like I'm nobody, like I'm just here, and I'm new, like I'm a white belt, so like there's no expectation, like I just show up and I'm just trying to learn something, and it's just a really good environment. I think I think Joe does a really great job with it, and I think there's other people that have experience other places, and they say the same thing, like people come from other places, they're like, it's just better here, like I just enjoy it.
I was gonna ask that, like what makes Momento different from why should someone pick Momento Combat Sports?
Man, I don't know. I think everybody's gonna find the right place for them. Hopefully we put out enough like content, stuff like that, to where they can be like, oh, that looks pretty cool, or like maybe one of their friends tells them about it. And then if you come in here and you try, we do a free week for everybody. So if you try it out and you're like, I like this place, we would like to have you here. But that's what I would say, is just like follow what we're doing. If you like it, come join. If not, that's cool too. Let's be friends in some way.
It does have a very good vibe. I mean, I've never walked in before in my life, but everyone's super welcoming and friendly, and it's not what you'd think.
You can't feel uncomfortable coming into a martial arts studio, in my eyes, because then you'll like be on guard the whole time. And there will be some people that like that, and there's gyms like that, and those people will find those gyms probably. But my gym's not like that. Like I don't like that vibe as much. I think you can be really tough and still be cool at the same time. Like I've been to gyms like that in California and Texas. I've been all over the place, and it's like you don't have to be an asshole to everybody.
Like why would you want people to hate you and fear you, and you know what I mean?
There was another thing in jiu-jitsu that was popular for like a few years, where it was like your place had to be real grungy and like it had to be dirty. And I'm like, man, I'm not about that vibe either. Like, I like everything to be super nice, and like, if I could have it clean and just like, now I'm not the cleanest guy. My girlfriend helps me with that, but
Sloppy Joe.
But I like to be in a nice environment.
You got to make your own move called the Sloppy Joe.
I
don't know what you put your butt on somebody's face.
It's funny. The parallels to CrossFit are uncanny, because that was like a thing. Like, we're a back alley, dirty garage door
because we're in a dirty place.
Yeah, like we don't need nice equipment. But then like
clean.
There's also like, hey, you're running a business. Like bloody noses and death metal appeal to a very small percent of the population, and like they're the people that want what you're doing are gonna find it on their own. Like you know what I mean? Like it's more the people that maybe don't know that that's what they need, or they are potentially hesitant to come in, and it could be life changing for them. If they come in and like everyone out on the mat is like rolling on the ground with a hurt elbow and they're bleeding, and be like, this is probably not for me.
It's a turn off.
So there needs to be the element of like.
I like to have the kids classes, and it's like a nice studio and stuff like that, and it's like people are gonna be like, this is
Piggly Wiggly, and there's Publix.
You know what I mean?
Publix is still around. You want that nice.
You got the nice stuff,
place, man.
But I still want them to know we do hard work. We do hard work here. It's not like all just like trying to look nice and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Once class actually starts, it's a different story. So you're gonna be a dad.
Yes.
I mean, I guess you already are a dad, right?
I guess.
By definition, already are.
It really feel like
hasn't come into the world yet to see you. What does that feel like to you right now?
Yeah, it feels like I'm preparing for like a huge tournament, but it's like a tournament that doesn't have like an ending date. It's just gonna keep living and lasting, and like, and you have no idea what to expect. It's also your first tournament. You've never done a tournament before,
right?
So I don't know. We'll see, man. Ask me in about 2 months, and then we'll talk. We'll have part 2.
We'll revisit.
It's a million times better than you think.
You have kids?
I have one. He has 3, but like I'm just saying, the moment they come out and you get to hold them for the first time, it's gonna blow you away, man.
I'm so excited, man.
Anything,
it's gonna be unreal, man. Unreal.
And, so we had talked to you and I last week, talked about that, like that adding a layer of know, complexity in terms of balance of things that you need to focus on, and shifting priority a bit, and now being a dad and you've got this little one to take care of. What is do you have? It's hard to say. Do you have a plan? But like, what is your thought process? Just like, what does that look like in your head? Of like, this is how this is going to work for us.
I think I'm going to have to systematize much better. I'm going to have to lean on my coaches more. I'm going to have to build a staff more. Which I've got a lot of these systems that's in my iPhone notes that hasn't been implemented yet. So I have to actually do that. So I think that's probably going to be, if I had to guess, the biggest adjustment. And then being able to squeeze in workouts in short periods of time with but I've got a lot of resources. I've got a gym at my place. I've got a gym here at the gym.
Right.
My life's kind of built around it. And then, some of that. I'm sure the lack of sleep. I've heard that's a big thing. So I'm going to have to figure that part out.
Yeah, it's I'm pretty far removed from little ones at this point. I guess my youngest is 8, but yeah, it's just you just adapt. It's a funny thing. More so women. I'll give the women credit. They actually have to carry a baby, give birth.
Yeah,
how
hard.
Malleable and resilient we really I remember when my kids were younger, and it was my wife. I'll give her the credit. She did a ton, whatever. But still, it's different, and you're sleeping less, and life is more hectic, and you're just how did I do? I slept 4 hours at a time, or at least whatever. That's all I can remember, and I still managed to work out and do all this stuff, and
it's crazy.
It's a funny, and I don't mean to pick on them, but people that don't have kids, when they talk about how busy they are and how hard things are at times, I'm oh,
or when they have a dog. So that's my kid.
I laughed a little too hard on that. I'm I have dogs too, and I have people.
See, I should have at least prepared myself with a dog. I didn't even get a dog, so I'm
different.
It's
just
gonna be
rip the Band-Aid, go all in.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Where do you see yourself going next? Is there a next step for you? So something we didn't, I guess, touch on much, but we may kind of show at some point is, you added with here, because this is your second location. You were Maryville Jiu-Jitsu in Maryville, now you're in Louisville, Momento, the recovery. So that's Recalibrate.
Yes, Recalibrate,
what was the thought process in adding that to what you guys do here?
Yeah, I was just trying to look for ways to recover my body more, being really active. So I got into sauna and ice and massage and stuff like that. And it was just man, if we're going to do it, if I'm going to spend this money on it, I might as well create a business around it.
Right.
And try to create a community around it. And so that's what we've been doing with Recalibrate and getting people in to do saunas, cold plunges, and it's morphed into massage, and it's kind of a social thing too. It's you do it for recovery, but you also do it to hang out with your friends. Sure. And we're trying to do that. I've got a lot of plans for it too. I've got a ton of ideas, but just keep growing that community.
Right.
And people that are into recovery. I think in fitness for a long time it was all about beating your body up, but not recalibrating. That was the name for it. Giving back into self-care. And I think massage is something I really enjoy. I really like doing saunas. I really like doing cold plunges, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
And I like recovery. I like that type of stuff. So
yeah,
that's what we're going to try to do with Recalibrate.
Cool. Do you see yourself kind of expanding, whether it's within the space you already have or branching out? Could you see yourself someday there's, Momento Knoxville, Memento wherever else?
I don't know. I think not right now. I want to just focus on creating the best community possible in one location. If that was just amazing in my processes, that would really come down to, I think scaling is probably more about systems and processes. Sure. And if I could step away from the gym for 3 months and go travel and everything's rocking and rolling and come back, I'm oh dang. If I step away for 6 months, a year, and everything was smooth, then I'd be okay, this thing's obviously scalable. But not saying that I want to do that. I'd enjoy my everyday here. But I think that's a long way. Well, it's just about systems and processes and managing people, and that's a whole nother realm that I haven't done a whole lot of, but I would like to get into.
Sure.
But I think that's probably what scaling, at least in my eyes, what I'm starting to understand is more about systems, processes, and managing people.
For sure.
Which is a whole nother lifestyle.
It's different. I came at it from the opposite perspective of when I first took over my business. We had 2 locations, and I had lots of employees, and everything was very actually systematized and done a certain way, and it actually didn't fit my personality well, where it was this doesn't feel like how I want to show up. This is not who I want to be. And honestly, it was 3 years almost of pulling the threads and reeling it all back in to now where we feel we're at this point
found
where
that right happy medium.
Yeah, and I'm not saying go the other direction and multiple location thing, but just getting to a place where, to your point, where you could step away a little bit and just you're confident that like things are still going to go.
Yes.
So you can just put attention to other things, and not because you don't love what you're doing, but just diversity or just lifestyle.
Yeah, you don't want to be like a slave to your own business, you know.
Yeah. Right.
Which is really easy to happen.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. And then like long term. So we've asked this on all of our guests. Ben started. He asked me, so I was our first guest. Where do you see yourself at 60?
60. Golly. Jeez. Yeah. Very weathered, cauliflower-eared face. Very bald. And hopefully wise. Yeah. And hopefully able to like. I want to be really healthy and mobile at that age. You know, like I would like that. That would be cool. Hopefully a bunch of kids and grandkids, that would be cool too.
Bunch of kids.
I don't know. That my girlfriend's gonna be like, no way, you know. But yeah, and just enjoying what I do every day, you know, whatever that is. Yeah. Being in nature, hopefully. I think that would be cool.
We got a guy.
Yeah.
Introduce him to Adam.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's in nature a lot.
Yeah, well, yeah. Trees and bees and
he's our a friend of Ben's we interviewed last time. He's very interesting life.
Ex-FBI, college football player, freaking this and that, Secret Service.
But now he's into beekeeping and tree conservation.
Trees. Yeah,
that's what it's about right there, man.
Like it's.
I mean, that's cool. That's a cool story arc.
He's digging holes every day. You know.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe he'll like get into like archaeology and go travel to freaking Egypt or something.
That'd be
try to dig it. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah.
Cool. Well, I don't know if you have any other questions, Ben. I mean, thank you so much, Joe. I think you did such a good job.
You're gonna show us some stuff out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Poke around and check out the space and kind of wherever else everything takes us. So
yeah, let's take a look.
Cool.
All right, guys, so show you around a little bit. First, I'm just going to back up 1 second because I love to show this thing off. We had Mike, English Mike is what we called him. He's from England, and he was training with us for a while. Amazing guy. He built this desk custom. It was an incredible job. Shout out, Mike. You the man.
We didn't talk about the name.
Yes.
Reference the line.
Yes.
Memento.
Yeah.
Where'd it come from?
Memento Mori. See Colby, yeah. Memento Mori is like live every day as if you're dying. Okay. So it's kind of morbid, but you know, at the same time, it's like valuable to know that. Yeah, so
it's a good like life mantra. Same time, right? Give it your all.
So we actually used to be called Maryville Jiu-Jitsu. This is our old sign. One of our guys stole this off the building, so don't tell anybody that. But he stole this. I'm gonna hang this up eventually. Show this guy. Show this guy. This guy's awesome. He's got a purple wolf with a big sweet tea. So.
Hey Joe, these give me rash cards by the way. You gotta start giving these out.
Love that, man. See, bro. Kids' room right there. It's where the kids hang out and. Yeah, and then through here is where the magic happens. It's like a club in here today. So we got kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, people hanging out on the wall. I think they're just kind of watching today. And yeah, hard work. So we'll come through here too. We'll check out some stuff. Yoko Senkaku. This is kind of cool. What's it? You got the bay doors right here. So you can see out here, we open up the doors when it's nice weather out, and it's beautiful out here, man. We just hang out. You'll be out here early morning classes, mats are full, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu workouts. We got our assault bike. We talked about this in the interview today. I hate this thing, but I love it. Or that's the Echo bike, actually. That's good for workouts. Yeah. And then, you guys want to check out where we do the recovery at? Clay might have left already. So this is recalibrate. Right here we got the famous cold plunge. It's at 50 today. We brought it up a little bit. It's usually at 39. We brought it to 50, but that's just as low as it goes. So yeah, have you ever done one of these? It's insane. Yeah, this thing's awesome right here. It's got the jets in it, so you can see the water's flowing. I like to go all the way under, come out, do 3 minutes on the cold plunge, and then you cycle it with the sauna. So this is the sauna right here. We just built this rock wall in here. One of my friends, T-Tom, he did an amazing job with this rock wall. It kind of helps get it a little hotter. This thing gets up.
Retain heat, having the.
It does, and it protects the wall right there. Let's see what temp we're at right now. We're at 192 degrees right now. So you go from 192 degrees for 30 minutes, and then you do 3 minutes of a 39-degree cold plunge. It's insane. This, my friend T-Tom also just built. This is incredible. This is a rinse-off station. So you go from your sauna, and then you take a rinse-off right here, and then you go into the cold plunge, and it's an insane experience. If you guys haven't done it before, we should come here and do like an interview with it one day or something, just have a conversation. It takes about 45 minutes to go through the process, but you feel incredible when you leave. We got our massage room right here.
It just detoxes you, or like what's the?
Yeah, it's just kind of like you sweat out all the stuff. It's really good for your cardiovascular, and then the cold plunge like gets you super cold, so all your blood goes to your organs, so it just flushes blood in and out of your system to where you just feel really relaxed. And like it's just, you just got to experience it. It's insane.
Like the nerdy, like the fitness thing, like the heat shock protein.
Yes.
Your acclimation to being able to deal with heat, which can inevitably build your like endurance and whatnot. But then also like just that extreme contrast.
Yes.
Like we're so like we live in 68 degrees.
Yes. Yeah.
Like that's the heat, that's the air conditioning. You're forcing your body to adapt to things that are outside your comfort zone. Yeah. And we've lost a lot of resilience to that stuff. So you kind of.
I love the mental part of it too. Like you get very uncomfortable that last 5 minutes here, and then the cold plunge is the opposite. You're immediately uncomfortable, and then you got to be able to weather it, and then get relaxed. This is the massage room. Shirley, this is our room. I don't know why we have like cannonballs and knives up here, but this is kind of cool. Shirley's awesome. She's an incredible massage therapist. She's even got judo techniques up here. Probably one of the most unique massage rooms you'll see. But she's an unbelievable massage therapist. Does great work. She's worked on me a bunch of times. Works on a bunch of people from the gym.
But she lives the life. So like that thing though, like she knows how to deal with what you're gonna encounter.
Yes.
When you're out on the mat doing that thing. She knows what that's like.
She'll hit those shoulders right here, or the hips right here, and they're like, oh.
She knows where the body's going to be tight, what might hurt. Also, if she's frequenting classes, she knows what you're training.
Yes.
So she knows specifically.
She's so good, man. I can't say enough good stuff about her.
Super valuable. Separate businesses, but do they go like?
So she does her own separate business here, but we get like a little cut out of it for the gym. And then this recalibrate thing, we do separate, but we give discounts for people that are part of Momento.
Cool, so you can have a membership to this and not Momento.
Yeah, exactly. We have like Clay that came here today. He only comes here for the recovery stuff. So we have people that will do that.
It's a cool like resource to have to like, you're training hard, you're doing this stuff, but then helping people understand how valuable it is to like focus on the recovery side of things.
Oh yeah.
It's going to help keep you out there because that's what can be a deterrent.
Yep.
People start feeling crappy.
How often do people are like, man, I just got injured, I can't do this no more,
or even just feel so bad that they lose their motivation. Like if you're feeling beat up all the time, maybe it's not something specific like trauma, but you're just like lethargic and worn out. You're like, I can't train, I don't want to train. So then
it's like, dude, just come in and do some recovery out here today. Let's work on some technique. We've got
keep you in the game.
100%. We got this massage chair. This was given to me by my friend Evan. This thing's sick. If you guys don't have one of these, you should get one of these. I swear, these things, this is like one of the most used things in the gym. And then we've got some Normatec boots that you sit in these recliners and you do the Normatec boots. Those are good for your legs. I've done podcasts here before where we just sat in the chairs and talked. But this thing's sweet. I love this thing.
It's a very cool space.
Thank you.
Really good job.
Thank you.
Like I said, with everything here, you guys just do such a good job. Like, I mean, we're showing videos down on the floor, but I think it doesn't do it justice that, like, there are guys, I mean, I'm talking about specifically, they're sitting on the mat in the corner talking to each other. One of them probably just choked the other. Like a few minutes ago, he was like pummeling this person, trying to get them to submit, and then they're like, let's go sit on the corner and like just chat about what everybody else is doing or what we need to learn.
Yeah, because everybody's like working. I guarantee you everybody down here has a job, you know, and it's like they're grinding all week and they look forward to this. People tell me, they're like, man, I love Sunday. Sunday's my favorite day of the week.
It's like the movie Fight Club, right?
Yeah. And it's funny because like some of these guys, I don't even know their real name. I'm just like, what up, Soap? Or what up?
Everybody has a nickname.
Everybody's got a nickname, and I'm like, I see them in real life, and I'm like, what the heck? You're a person outside of the gym?
You're actually Steve.
Yeah. Well, that was it. Thank you, man.